Hello, everyone, and welcome to the United Hotspot. It's another day to talk Manchester United. Now, there is a lot that's happening concerning Manchester United as we do build up to arguably our toughest game so far, our toughest game of the season, one that is fast becoming the biggest derby in global football. Man United taking on Manchester City. It's away at the Etihad Stadium, but guess what? Instead of us concentrating on the Erik Ten Hag press conference and reacting to it, guess what? One of our weakest performers, Marcus Rashford, is messing up again. Now, Rashford has dropped an interview that has not sat well with me, and I'm sure it hasn't sat well with you either. Welcome to the United Hotspot. It's exactly 10 p.m. and this is the time where we come here and talk about this beloved club. Now, Marcus Rashford is the talk of town, together with Bruno Fernandes, the captain. But I think the latest from the Player Tribune, an interview released where Marcus Rashford was trying to play a wrong card, if you ask me, the sympathy card that went sour. There is no sympathy at all because the backlash on all platforms where this message has been posted is not good. Rashford will certainly sit back and say, perhaps I shouldn't have done this. But he has come out to speak and respond to critics who have been consistently coming out here and blaming him for not performing on the pitch. And he's trying to play the sympathy card, talking about his story, saying, you can question me for anything, but you cannot question my love and commitment to Manchester United. Well, one person whose love and commitment to the United Hotspot and to Manchester United I can't question is the first man to drop a comment in Kenny Katoramo. What's good? Good evening, Red family. Good evening, Kenny. Welcome aboard, KK. Well, Rashford has dropped one that we'll probably focus on for a bit before we get into the real football talk, because Erik Ten Hag spoke with confidence ahead of our derby. But boy, how do you release such an interview when you are the player we should be looking to win us a derby match? Isn't this the wrongest timing? Is there a worse timing than this? Could it have been a worse timing than this? Rashford's advisors are wrong. If the club is the one who told him to do this, they are extremely wrong. But we'll certainly get into the mood to talk about the game. But let's talk about Marcus Rashford because it's the latest that has just been dropped, of course, on the same day when we learned of the fate of our former player, a hero turned villain to many, in Paul Pogba, banned from the beautiful game for 4 years. We'll talk about the details and what lessons are there for us to learn. Of course, I know Man United supporters move on and sometimes you don't want to associate with bad characters, but well, there is another window for him to exploit, and maybe he can appeal this 4-year ban and he will be forgiven. But let's talk about Marcus Rashford because there is no way for him to appeal the decision for him to drop an interview when we have got a big, difficult game to play against Manchester City. So Rashford comes out to say that you're questioning you can say a lot of things about him, about his performances, but you cannot question his commitment to Manchester United. And I'm thinking, isn't this guilt? Isn't this guilt working on this boy? For starters, who told him to come out and drop an interview now and start quoting how we speak about his cars? Who cares about Rashford's cars? I think people talk about his cars because he's a star, and these cars are something normal that people enjoy. People like nice cars, and if you got a nice ride, people will talk about it. But how on earth does Rashford come out and is going about talk about how he thinks people are hurt because he drives nice cars? Really? How petty can this boy be? And honestly, for me, this has just exposed Rashford in ways I cannot explain. Words cannot explain. Ernest Kavuta, my brother, welcome and good evening. Good evening to you, Ernest. How is it going in Zambia? Trust me, the interview from Marcus Rashford for me has shown me that what I've been talking about consistently here, that this boy's head is not right. He doesn't have the right mentality, because you cannot be coming out in a press conference, rather in an interview, talking about we've just been struggling. You're struggling to put in a good shift for the club. This entire season, our highest paid player, a guy we're looking at to come out and lead the mantle, he has scored only 5 goals in 25 Premier League games and assisted 3 times. Those are 8 goal contributions. Now, we are here all worried. How are we going to deal with Manchester City? That's the focus we are having. Erik Ten Hag is being quizzed on what he's going to do and how he's going to handle that, how he's going to approach the derby against Man City, a team on form. We saw how they obliterated Luton, a team that gave us a proper run for our money. Ten Hag is trying to get answers. He said Ten Hag confirmed today that he doesn't have any injury boost. The same players who are available for that game, the last game, are the same players who are going to be there for the derby. Certainly, we know that that squad is not our A squad. We can't be given a mauling by this Manchester City. He's only trying to psych his players up and bring a bit of confidence. Sorry, Ernest, how is Malawi? Sorry, I just confused the countries there. My bad. But but we are all brothers and sisters, aren't we? But here's the thing. Uh, I mean, how on earth do you come out here and drop such an interview when we should be looking at you to be focused on giving us goals, and you're telling us about your cars, how you walked from Salford with your mom? There were 2 buses that could travel around town, so you had to walk and get the second bus. Then no, it was difficult. It was your dream. No one cares about that now. We all have our hustles, fam. No one cares. No one cares. And no one cares about your cars, man. No one cares about Rashford's cars. I mean, for me, is, I think, the last nail in his coffin. He has just put the last nail in his own coffin. Trust you me, Ineos cannot tolerate this. I mean, this is that I'm talking about how many big contracts he turned down as a younger player just to play for Man United. Oh, come on. Which bragging in this? Is this the right time? Is that emotional intelligence for Rashford to come out and make such statements? Anyway, let's focus on the derby because we've got a big game coming. Unfortunately, Erik Ten Hag is likely to play him. I'm hoping that he doesn't, because if at all Manchester United, and of course usually these interviews are sanctioned, probably it's the PR team that is working together with the player tribune and all to get these interviews done. This is wrong. This is going to backlash badly. It's putting a lot of pressure on Marcus Rashford. Trust you me, he will be booed with every kick of the ball at the Etihad Stadium. There will be a song. Manchester supporters will come up with a song to bully him and to boo him and stuff. Kenny Katuram winning the derby will be so tough without Højlund. Obviously, it is going to be extremely tough because think about it. Look at the squad we are looking at. As Erik Ten Hag confirmed, we are going to have the same players. The thing though is with derby games, the psyche is always there. But you see, the psyche will be there, and when if players are psychable, if there's anything like that. The thing I've seen with this squad, these players, they don't really. And yes, you can say in the last game we tried to respond against in our most recent game against Nottingham Forest. We tried to respond from the loss against Fulham, but you see, it's never enough. We don't really show enough hunger. We don't really show enough hunger in our team. I think we need to be properly psyched up to be able for a team in the state we are in as Man United to be able to go to the Etihad Stadium and even get a point or get a respectable beating. A respectable beating, if I can say it like that. That we fight and fight, but because of home advantage, because of course they are better than us, you lose, but respectfully, honorably. But you see, these players, you look at our top player, our top earner has got the very wrong think about the wrong things. We are thinking about the derby. He's thinking about dropping interviews and talking about his cars and attacking media people and fans he doesn't know. And you're thinking, in this social media age, how does he care? How are you a professional elite player caring about what people say? How many things do we say about Bruno every day, the captain of this club? Every day we are calling him out. Every day, but he's focused on his game and trying to do better. Give us results on the pitch. Score a hat-trick in the derby and see if we won't be praising your name and because changing our statements here. But these are the players we have at Manchester United. So Erik Ten Hag has spoken in depth about the game, of course, talking about how he has done it before, because he has beaten Man City before, but of course he's lost to them more than he's beaten them. And the circumstances were a little different, really, in all reality. In all honesty, if you look at the circumstances before, I think they were different. You look at most of our high-profile players are not there in this one, and it is certainly going to be a big ask of these players to go to the Etihad Stadium and beat Manchester City. For me, my expectation is a performance that can be, that won't get me here feeling bad about my team, that we've been humiliated by a rival. I mean, that's why I say you've got to have players who are psyched up for a derby. And speaking of those players, well, most probably he will start the same 11. I posted a poll there where I was asking you which players you think, who you think should start as our number 9 in that game. As you can see, without Højlund, the guy who we're expecting to start in number 9 is busy whining and attacking fans who he doesn't even know. Now I'm asking you again, and people are still thinking Rashford is our best bet to start in number 9 position. And 33% of the 9 votes so far saying 33% are saying Rashford should start in number 9. 11% are for Fosun. 56% are for Scott McTominay, and no one so far thinks Diallo should start as our number 9. I asked whether you think they are all one and the same, but none of you think they are all one and the same. So Scott McTominay is still getting the nod. So I'll get proper into the talk of the squad and how Erik Ten Hag can manage this game. Whereas we should respect Man City as a better team, arguably one of, if not the best team in the league so far, with them and Chelsea and Liverpool rather can be in their own conversation. I think if we have for me, Erik Ten Hag should look at players who have got the right attitude, who have got the hunger to play for this team. And if you look at that squad, I think it is clear to identify which players have got the hunger. You can clearly tell which players have got the hunger to put on the jersey. Now, those are the players who will know what it means to be humiliated by Man City, regardless where we play them. So I'm talking players like, of course, Lindelof. He showed big hunger and personality. Of course, Johnny Evans, for me, if it were up to me, Johnny Evans would be starting that game because of his experience and the order he will bring. And Olina Riguma, good evening to you. Welcome aboard. I think Johnny Evans would be important in that game. Sofian Amrabat had a very good performance against in that FA Cup game. Of course, against Nottingham Forest. Of course, the opponents are different. Nottingham Forest is not a Manchester City, but of course, with the players we have, certainly, I think for me, it's good that we saw Amrabat play a good game. And whereas I've always wanted him to start in the left back when the preferred left backs are not there, I'm thinking, isn't it a high time Erik Ten Hag does what he did in the second half against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup? Can he have the confidence to play a back three and instead pack the midfield? For me, the approach for Erik Ten Hag for us to be able to salvage anything is to just, because if Erling Haaland is not getting the service from Kevin De Bruyne, he's not as dangerous. Evans is smart enough to deal with him. He might be physical, but Evans is smart enough to deal with him. So my thinking is Erik Ten Hag should play a back three, play your 3 central defenders, have your either Evans or Varane, whoever he wants, Evans or Varane, playing with Dalot and the other, whoever other playing on the left-hand side, and Lindelof. Have your Lindelof, Dalot, and Varane or Evans, doesn't matter. Then pack the midfield. Have a schema. Have your Sofian Amrabat in the middle, because the thing about Sofian Amrabat is that he will then drift into the wide areas because he has got that mobility and work rate, which I liked. I loved that about him, and he has always had that. I think the issues we would have with Amrabat are the finesse in how he plays. He plays with his head down most of the times, but I think he has improved that. He would put his head up and pick a good pass. So for me, I think we need to pack the midfield, have Amrabat in there, have Casemiro and Olina Riguma. We need more midfielders in this game. Maino, Casemiro, Amra, exactly. So and it is confirmed Bruno is fit. There was a video we saw of him limping as he left Nottingham, but I think he's okay. Erik Ten Hag confirmed that he's okay. So pack the midfield. Let's play a midfield diamond where we have probably Amrabat seated on the base, then Kobe Main on one side, have Casemiro on the other, then on the top you have your number 10. So you have a diamond in the middle. So that's a 3, I think either 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, depending on how you look at it, but with a diamond in the middle. But so you have one person at the base of the diamond. That is Amrabat, because of his mobility. That's the scheming role. You have Amrabat at the base of the diamond. He can go wide. He can go everywhere. He loves to have that freedom. As you can see, he keeps wanting to go into the defensive positions, goes wide, goes central, goes up a bit, does not go so much, advance himself so much. Restrict him there to just keep track of what's his name, of Kevin De Bruyne. Let him follow Kevin De Bruyne everywhere he goes, because for me, the person who is going to injure us is De Bruyne. It's not Haaland. When De Bruyne is off, if you cut off the service to Erling Haaland from Kevin De Bruyne, they struggle to find options of getting the ball to him. I saw that against Everton, and I had to come off the bench, just cut off De Bruyne and limit Kyle Walker and his runs. So how do you do that? Have, first of all, Amrabat scheming and following Kevin De Bruyne everywhere he goes in that hole, because that's why he operates, that's where his danger is. Even when it comes to pick the ball up from deep places, we have a hard-working captain in Bruno who will be following him there from the if he's playing more, if he's in their half to pick up the ball. Let Bruno follow him up everywhere. Then Kobe Maino and Casemiro, keep them disciplined as two blocking midfielders on either sides. So Maino can keep going wide left to try and tame, because he's the one guy who has the smartness to get the ball off anyone, uh, Kyle Walker, who brings a different dimension to this team. He gives them a different dimension. So, or you can twist it a bit and let Maino be the schemer. Let Maino be the one tasked to track Kevin De Bruyne. The only thing though is then that will limit him, because we need his smartness as well. Whereas yes, we are going to be taming De Bruyne and trying to hunt him down. We also need someone who has got the individual brilliance to create something. So instead of having Maino being the one to track De Bruyne, I would rather have Amrabat, who is not going to give us a lot in terms of us when we have the ball and attacking, but will give us a lot with his work rate and defensively. Let Maino have the be the one who can contribute and create things to boost our attack. Now, for me, I'm trying to think of how we are going to limit. Now, if we have that control and we go for 40 minutes, the first half, without Manchester City getting, the pinholes, creating the pinholes, we'll then grow in confidence into the game. Then let's have some width. Yeah, someone spoke about it. An all-in 3-5-2. It's a 3-5-2 with a diamond in the middle. Then you have your Garnacho. So let's rely on the pace of Garnacho. Let's rely on the overrunning runs of the overlapping runs of what's his name, of Dalot on the right. So let Dalot keep overlapping. Lindelof should stay disciplined, but Dalot can keep overlapping, because you've got a packed up midfield. Dalot can overlap and swing in crosses. So that means up top, you need a player who can get to connect well with his crosses. We've seen that Scott McTominay connects well with Diego Dalot's crosses. Let Scott McTominay, without Højlund, be the one who leads the line. Try it. Let's try Scott McTominay to be the one leading the line, and we are relying more on crosses now, because that's how we are going to beat City. The problem will come if Erik Ten Hag thinks he can bring the game to Man City, that we can try to pass them. We cannot beat them at their game. It's impossible. We just need to frustrate them, knock them, let the instruct, because this is a derby. I'm hoping the referee is sober. They have been unfair to Man United, I think, more times than not. But if we've got a referee who knows how to handle a derby, he will expect a physical game, obviously. So let Amrabat knock him, Casemiro. Let's have some physical battle. I mean, he has had 15 goal contributions, both 15 and more goal contributions every season since he joined Man United. That's a huge thing. It's a massive thing. So we've got no doubts about his skill and creativity. But it's the formation, the system under which Erik Ten Hag deploys Bruno, that makes him look pedestrian at times. It makes him look like he struggles to make things happen. So for me, I would go for Rashford and Garnacho to lead the line. That's an elite. Honestly, for me, and whereas Rashford has got a bit of a pedigree, has got a bit of, there is something about him that it's difficult to bench him, more so at a time like this when you don't have most of our players. I honestly don't. If he's not playing out wide, if he's not flying in from the left, Garnacho on the right, he would rather not play. Having Rashford as a false nine does not work. It does not work for me in this case, because if we play back there and we are going to rely on crosses, I would rather Scott McTominay leads the line. I would rather Scott McTominay leads the line. If we are going to play back three, if it's a back four, then of course, and which again makes it different. But if we play the way we played the second half, and I think we've played, Erik Ten Hag has deployed a back three before against Man City, and it looked, yes, I think we lost that game, but it looked okay. It's possible, because it's a bit difficult. By the way, 3-5-2 is a difficult formation to play against. It is a bit difficult because the midfield is usually battles with Haaland. have someone who is going to limit how many crosses Kyle Walker is going to swing in. You know how they. I think it is easy to tell how you can frustrate this Man City side. It's about frustrating them, not trying to beat them at their game. So, but these, if we bring in these lazy players, I mean, for me, I have no issues. And Olin is saying, I don't tip McTominay to start. I wouldn't ordinarily. I think under normal circumstances, I wouldn't. But in this case, honestly, I think the thing is, I think he's a player who can be psyched up. He has got the mentality and the hunger, the heart of Manchester United. But also of the option, the fact that we don't have Højlund, we don't have a natural striker up top. Marcus Rashford for me is off. His mentality is wrong. Mentally, he's off. I think this interview does it wrong. For me, it shows you he's not concentrated and focused on the game. But also, Rashford is better playing from the left, not or from the right, but not as a false nine. Having him as a false nine is wasting him. And you cannot put Omari Foson in this game. This game that would be an overstretch. So for me, and we've seen signs even in the last game against Nottingham Forest. We saw how Scott McTominay was getting into good places to try and pick a header. I'm thinking for me, this game is going to rely mostly on the crosses of Diogo Dalot. And those crosses are usually going to be met by Scott McTominay. If Højlund is not there, it's usually going to be Scott McTominay, and maybe Garnacho if Garnacho is playing on the left, from the left. So for me, in my view, I would rather we have Scott McTominay start in the number 9, keep him there, let Bruno be behind him as the number 10, then have Rashford and Garnacho on the wings. So you play a 3-5-2. So you have your 3, the back line of and I'll go deeper into the probable lineup on the eve of the game. But you've got your Lindelof, you've got either Varane or Evans. They are all fit. So Varane and your Dalot. Then in the middle, you've got your schema in just in front of the back 3. You've got your Amrabat. Then on the left-hand side of Amrabat, you've got Kobe. On the right-hand side of Amrabat, you've got Casemiro. Up top, on top of that diamond, you've got Bruno. Then Garnacho. Then up top, of course, you've got Scott leading the line. Then you've got Rashford on the left and Garnacho on the right. For me, this is how you make use of you've got to create formations based on your best players. I feel like this would best suit our best players. So it's sad I didn't make it graphical. I would rather counter-attack. You see, yeah, crosses are counter-attack. Crosses are counter-attack. When you counter, you swing in crosses. But we cannot beat Man City through the middle. That's the thing. We need to, whatever we come up with needs to be through the wide areas. But through the middle, we can't beat Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. It won't happen. We just need to frustrate them in the middle. Yes, a few things can be initiated in the middle. But our game plan for me should be relying on wide players to give us the edge. Try to feed Scott, because Scott can finish, can head the ball. He's tall. He can win battles in the air. He has got good ball control. He can perhaps set up Bruno for a rebound. So for me, if we have these 3 a bit limited, that's Kobe, Amrabat, and Casemiro, limited, and they don't go so much into the final third, then we let Bruno commit and follow Scott McTominay patiently. Because McTominay can play with his back to the goal and find Bruno who can pick a shot. Then Scott is always sharp enough to be in the right place to try and pick up a rebound. If Dalot crosses the ball, Scott is always good to, well positioned to at least find his head on the ball. That different way will disturb Pep Guardiola. But also Pep Guardiola hates playing teams that play that kind of direct game. They disorganize him a lot. That's how you match Pep Guardiola's teams. They disorganize him a lot. Those one route styles and through they disorganize him. But if you try hard Anolin Azguma is saying a draw will feel like a win for us. Obviously, if we got a draw, that would be a win. You remember how I said here that the goalless draw against Liverpool was a win? I called it a goalless win. I'll tell you that would be another win for us, because the reality is, whereas we've been on form, and Erik Ten Hag is relying so much on the form, on the good run we've had. Against City, it's not about good runs. I mean, for them, it's never about runs. They are always ready to give it to you, and if you don't put yourself together, you will get it. And the thing is, the beauty is, the Man City we are facing is not the most lethal Man City. Forget the 5-0 they beat Luton, but we've seen that Chelsea were giving them a run for their money at their own, in their own yard. Chelsea were giving them a run for their money. Everton was giving them a run for their money. So we know that they are beatable. If you tame Rodri and Kyle Walker and Kevin De Bruyne, Man City is done. The only way we are going to tame Rodri is if Bruno is kept there in his number 10 and he does his things. Rodri will be forced not to move a lot. He will stay there to try and mark him. So he keeps far away from us. The only way we are going to tame Kevin De Bruyne is putting Kofi and Amrabat to man mark him. You remember how Sir Alex Ferguson used to deploy Park Ji-sung and have him man mark either whoever, Messi. In fact, you remember in that Champions League final where he left out Park, and he said that's the biggest regret of his life, because he knows that, I think we were playing Barcelona. He knew that Park could have man marked anyone. You remember how he man marked Pirlo, and Pirlo had, I think, the worst performances in the history of his career up to now. Pirlo talks about Park Ji-sung. Amrabat, we can make Amrabat our Park Ji-sung because he seems to have the work rate. So Bruno needs to stick to his position, like you're saying, Ganolin, yes, so that he does not burn. This guy has played how many games without getting injured? He does not burn a lot of calories. Let us have enough people and trust them behind him. Let him create as a number 10. Let him create. And that way, Rodri will not move because he will be worried Bruno can pull up anything. So he will be instructed, well, stay and take care of Bruno. Then let Kobe Maino, Casemiro, and mostly Amrabat deal with Kevin De Bruyne. Let those ones deal with De Bruyne. And then maybe one of them, Maino especially, because he's smart. I feel like I would want to see a battle between Maino and Kyle Walker, or Maino and Kevin De Bruyne. It would be another interesting one, because that boy is too smart. He's like a pickpocket. A pickpocket. He knows how to steal the ball without being, committing a foul and stuff. So I'm thinking just that if he's the one who is tasked to man mark Kevin De Bruyne, I think we lose something in terms of now our attack. We lose something. He would be the best person to man mark Kevin De Bruyne. It would be brilliance, brains, and skill on brain upcoming. I think they already made, and the future. I think it would be an interesting battle to see. But that would be for the gallery. I think we shouldn't be setting up a team to play for the gallery. The jury or the onlookers, the neutrals would enjoy that battle to see who is smarter, who is better, how good is he, because then they give us a good comparison. So you remember how during the preseason we were all eager to see Kobe Maino play with Declan Rice, and actually this boy pocketed Declan Rice like Rice itself. Rice in your pocket. That's what he did. Now in this case, we want to get a result at the Etihad. We don't want to play for the gallery. If it were a preseason game, we would have been excited to see how Kobe matches up so Kobe plays as the sitting midfielder, then let Kevin Bruyne come as their number 10, and we see what he does. But in this case, I think Amrabat should just chase and knock and frustrate Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think he's even 100% fit by that. He's been suffering with injuries. I think he missed about 6 games for Man City this season, and they were struggling when he wasn't there. So let's sacrifice one player, Amrabat, to be on him. Then let Kobe just do his magic, but also as he smartly keeps going wide to try and limit. The reason I'm saying Kobe should be the one on the left-hand side is because he's the one who has the physique to try and match this very fast Kyle Walker, but also with these overlapping runs, but also the smartness to steal a ball off him without committing a foul. So for me, that would be good, because remember, if we are playing a back 3, then there is that sort of space in the wide areas that they would want to exploit. But if you've got a Kobe who can keep drifting on the left, On the right, we will make them busy because Diogo Dallo is fast becoming the best at overlapping. So he will also keep them busy on the left. So they don't have a lot of work to do on the left. But even this Akanji boy, we know that Kobe Maino can deal with Akanji and Kyle Walker. He's smart enough to balance it and deal with them. My only problem is how Erik Ten Hag wants players, and he was praising Bruno for how he works hard and he goes up, he keeps running the way he runs and goes and supports defenders, then goes and supports attackers. And I'm thinking, that's the problem. That's the big problem, that such a creative player is made to work way too hard that it affects him. He gets tired. He's human. He gets tired. You see, if you're a hard worker, usually things are creative. Usually things are in your brain. The more you keep running and working hard, you become stiff in your head. You won't create. The reason why you see Bruno is shooting balls unnecessarily, he's feigning injuries, is because he's working too hard that his brain is becoming stuck. It's not open. You see how Kevin De Bruyne does not do a lot of work because he's a creative. He can now think ahead and create. But you see, if you make a smart player like Bruno work like a slave, for me, that's my biggest problem, by the way, with Erik Ten Hag. He makes our very smart creative players run and just work like slaves. That's not how to play the football. Yes, we need players to work hard, but you see, there are certain players who you won't make to work like slaves. You're killing them because every player has got their strength. You cannot have every player having to run back and track back and run back and track back just to show that they work hard. No, it can't be. It can't be. You need to have players who have got the freedom to open their heads, their brain, and their feet. Kobe Maino, I don't think we've seen a quarter of what Kobe Maino can do. I swear to God. And I'm eager to see him play probably for England or whichever national team he chooses. Any other coach will not make Kobe Maino do a lot of that running. He keeps going up, and then he's caught. Then you see the young boy sprinting and trying to come back and cover. Then he has to run back. Then he goes down. Then Bruno, the same thing. They're all following the ball. It doesn't make sense. That's why I say Erik Ten Hag's system is tiring these players. That's why we are getting injuries after injuries, guys. It's not by mistake. It's the way they play. The system of Erik Ten Hag is, and you see with the intensity of the Premier League, if you play like that, you're going to get so tired. So tired. You can't have all players running like slaves. Imagine Kevin De Bruyne playing in that Erik Ten Hag system. Would he deliver? He is running everywhere. Running. You're chasing, just chasing. Your brain will become stuck. Ernest Kavuta, but Webb, can you elaborate more on how we let Sergio, yet we have more and more in Sergio Reguilon? I think they seem to suggest that it was more of a financial decision, that we didn't have money to keep paying him and whatever and stuff. We can't be sure that was it, but I think, in all honesty, clearly we see it now that it was a wrong decision. It was a quick decision really to make. But also probably Erik Ten Hag was not so impressed with these levels, because you remember that even when he was still there, he was several times kept on the bench, and players who are not natural left backs would play ahead of him. What does that show? It shows that maybe Erik Ten Hag was not as impressed as he expected to be. That's why he's like, you know what, we may not need to keep him long. So it's a bit confusing. De Bruyne, Mata, Ozil, Odegaard, David Silva, these creative midfielders never track. Yes, you cannot have all your players playing and running. These are creatives. Creatives play in the head. Bruno should be a creative. Bruno should be at that level with Kevin De Bruyne, with the Silvers. They cannot be running from box to box. Every player, you look at how United plays. Every player is forced to be everywhere. We are all over the place. That's why we have no patterns. Because the guys are just running. They're just running and chasing. It looks like we're a village team chasing the ball. Before you see Marcus Rashford. I saw Rashford clearing balls and tracking back, and it doesn't even look good on him. And I'm like, what is this? Garnacho, poor guy. Then they get tired. By the 60th minute, they are all tired. Then they concede. Then they try to wake up because they remember we are Man U. We are supposed to force ourselves now. We can't lose. But they are tired and panting. When is the last time you saw footballers, professional footballers, panting like that? And then we blame the players. Yes, we should blame them, not taking away the blame from them. But honestly, for me, the playing style is just drains the life out of these players. That even the good players look bad. I honestly, even the good players look, because there is no decentralization of roles in the Erik Ten Hag system. There's no decentralization of roles. It is like everyone has got to continue. Onana, I think, he will be forced one time to keep to pressing, also running to press high. Then Hoyland tracks back to press when we lose the ball, rather to defend when we lose the ball. Then when we get it, he has to sprint and then go and try to position himself to score a goal. And then Kobe Maino is trying to run and assist. Then when we lose the ball and they are catching us on the counter, he has to track back and sprint. Before you know it, he's late, and the space he has left has been exploited already. That football cannot beat Man City, trust me. If we play like that, and that's my problem with Erik Ten Hag, sticking to his guns and playing one style against all teams, trust me, they will beat us. They'll beat us. That will be the game that will end his time at Man United. I've not enjoyed how Erik Ten Hag, even if I was a footballer. Let me ask you something. And guys, let's be honest. Do you think Bruno enjoys his football at Man United? When is the last time we all keep saying Bruno does not happy? We complain about all these players. Marcus Rashford is not happy. Bruno is not happy. You see, you want to see players playing with a smile, with a certain calmness and comfort, and enjoying their football. That's how you get the best out of players. Do you really think? Do you see? Have you ever? When did you last see Bruno playing with a happy face? He's our creative player, but when did he ever look like a happy footballer? When did you last see him? All they're doing is working and running under pressure. They are running and working and running and running and running. Before you know it, they get injured in training. Injured in training. Injured in training. Come on. It's the way they play. But yet you have players who can be, Bruno can be, we know he can be a good number 10. We know Casemiro can be a good number 6. We know that this one, decentralized roles, let each one have a role. But that doesn't mean others will not come in, because in football it's obvious. You see where you need to come and cover, especially if we're saying set pieces, it's a corner. We know that, of course, even the strikers should come and try to clear balls. If it is maybe they're catching us on the counter, we've been pressing, and they're catching us on a quick counter, the closest person should be able to sprint and cover up, because maybe we are in a set piece and they caught our giant Maguire in the box, and there was no time to wait for him to do his role. There are circumstances, instances where footballers should be able to make the decisions and know, okay, right now I should cover. But you see, Erik Ten Hag wants, from the start of the game to the end, all players to be running. If you pay attention to how United play, it's even confusing, even you to the fans. Even when you're doing commentary to United games, you know who is where. You think this is Casemiro. Before you know it, it's actually Marcus Rashford receiving the ball from a Casemiro position. Then they play the long pass wide. You think it is Diogo Dalot who has made an overlapping run. Before you know it, it is Bruno Fernandes who is wide. Then we miss a chance from through the middle. You're thinking, hey, I think this is Bruno who missed that chance. With a close-up shot, you see it's the left back, Amrabat, or Diogo Dalot in the number 10 position. And you're thinking, how did he get here? Then you are clearing the lines and you're seeing Hoyland receiving the ball from a sweeping position. And you're thinking, what is this? There is no order. We cannot play without order just because of whatever Erik Ten Hag, however he wants, because players have got to work hard and work hard and work hard. They will get tired. They will get tired and they will not respond. They won't react. They won't play. For me, that's my biggest issue with Erik Ten Hag. Now, against Man City, I'm hoping he will have it in him to decentralize roles. Imagine, look at the best team now, Manchester City or Liverpool. Look at all the best teams. You clearly watch the game and you see what they are doing. You see that there is order. You clearly see in Man City that there is order, that Rodri is the holding midfielder. There is Kevin De Bruyne is playing in this department. This is where he operates. And you see that the striker, Erling Haaland, this is the striker, that Doku is wide. This is where he operates. He's either going to keep inverting himself like this, go this side and go the other side, but there is order, even when you're not seeing having a proper view. Me, I watch football matches on the phone mostly, but you can see the Man City. You can tell who is in which position. With Man United, you can keep getting wrong names because you don't know who is where at what point. They are all over the place, just chasing the ball like villagers, chasing all over the place. They're all over the place. What kind of football is that? That's why I say we might we might yes, we want Erik Ten Hag, we like him, and maybe this is his style and it's different, but it doesn't work in the Premier League. Maybe that style could work in a less intensity league where players, the Premier League is a high intensity league. That's why, guys, our players are getting these injuries because of the methods of Erik Ten Hag, the running. The complaints we hear that the players were complaining, they were asking for a day off. Boss, these players know they are playing for United. They want their jobs. They want and their money. They know they have to work. But boy, they are humans, guys. They are humans. Let's first think about it. They are humans. Their bodies get tired. Their brains stick. They are humans. They run too much. This where they play is too demanding. It's not good for their health for anyone. They will be sick every day. And that's why they end up committing nasty fouls. They end up just running. And Erik Ten Hag will be impressed because they ran. So they play to please the manager. He's the manager. That's what he wants them to do. They want to run. But you see, if you make Bruno run, if you make Rashford, Rashford is fast. Anyway, his style is running. But running haphazardly, you make Garnacho run. Before you know it, they are all. So that posted something interesting. They posted the video of Bruno's morning stunt that we are complaining about here, where fans came out attacking him for feigning an injury and stuff. And Erik Ten Hag was defending him and was saying Fulham should apologize and stuff. What they did was not professional. But I mean, I don't see so much in it really, because really we all saw it that what Bruno did. I mean, for a captain, we are trading, we are trying to chase a game, and we are in an attack, and you're feigning an injury, you're falling and diving, then you get up on your feet. Really, I think in this social media age, you can't blame Fulham for making a meme out of that. I think for me, it's not something I can dig so much into. I think the lesson for Bruno should be to stop mourning unnecessarily. For me, he's the captain, and you would never have expected Roy Keane to be doing such. Roy Keane, I mean, we are trailing, we are looking for a goal. You're the captain. You in the final third, we have the ball, we are attacking, and you're falling. That's You don't do that. Then I spoke about Amrabat, Rashford, and of course the ban on Paul Pogba. So Paul Pogba was banned for 4 years, has been banned for 4 years because of being tested positive for testosterone, which is a banned substance in sport, according to the World Anti-Doping Agency, because it improves an athlete's performance and energy and stuff. So it boosts performance for an athlete. So and it's not natural. So it's wrong. He denies it. He says he's going to appeal the decision. But for me, whatever it is, I like what Sir James started with. He wants to help these young players. Paul Pogba, I think, lacked the right people around him to advise him. He could have performed. We all know it. He could have been a lot better than he was, but he lacked the right people to come out and support him in his career. I think as we rebuild United, this is, I think, the job now. The work is cut out for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. These young players need a lot of guidance. Kobe, I mean, we might sit there and think Kobe Maino cannot be this, but you see, if the Kobe's don't get the guidance as well, Kobe is only going to earn more money, more money, more money. Garnacho, the money is only going to keep increasing. If they're not guided, they will also follow the same route, and we'll be talking about them the same way we're talking about Pogba, who is also a boy from our academy who joined way back from Le Havre, back I think in 2009 when he came into the academy. So really, we do want to help these players, and I'm hoping they learn. It's a proper lesson, and Ineos do have a proper plan to support these young players to be able to save their careers, and of course with all the money they could have. But for Pogba, it's done. Everything he has worked for, he has lost his family, he has lost his brother, I think, and close relatives. He has lost money, deals, endorsements. You can imagine how bad this is going. This is for him. So in this day and age, things are tight. Certain players have got to be supported so much. You have got to be supported. And Sir Jim is looking to do that. It's very important for me. And I give him all the credit for that. So let me just wind it up with the poll that I posted, because we have more time really to keep talking about this game. So far, we've got 19 votes. 53% are for Rashford to start, 42% for Scott McTominay to start in number 9, 5% for Omar Foson. No one is saying Amad Diallo should start. And well, no one is saying, oh, they are all one and the same. So most people are for Rashford starting as our number 9. Well, history has it that whenever he has had a bit of issues, he has been motivated and he will come and score a goal like he did after his Belfast bender. My thinking is this is not really an issue. This is something of shows you where his mind is. So for me, he's not focused. But well, maybe it could motivate him, but also knowing it's a derby. And those are games Rashford will come and he's expected to cause damage. But for me, whether he starts or not, I wouldn't want him to start as our number 9. I'm with the 42% who are for Scott McTominay to start in our number 9 position against Man City. But McTominay needs to start, but not as a holding midfielder, as a number 9. Without Hoyland, McTominay needs to start that game because he's an academy boy. McTominay plays with Psyche. You saw how he played with against Liverpool when he was captain, because he knows these games and his proper Psyche is a good character. For me, that's the kind of player we need in this game. We don't need our most skillful players. We need our most psychable players, the players who have the heart of the club, who understand that being beaten by Man City is Bruno. We have Kobe Maino and Amrabat. So Anolina Liguma is already predicting United 3-1 City is his prediction. I'm not so far from yours. I think we shall get a point. We won't be beaten. I'll just say it that way. Tomorrow I'll give a prediction of how many goals, but I don't think we'll be beaten. I think we will get something from that game. I strongly believe we will get something in that one. So Man City should be braced for a tough one. Guys, let me just let you retire. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome time. Anolin Aliguma, Ernest Kavuta, my brother from Zambia, Lusaka should be rather from Malawi. Why do I keep insisting Zambia, man? Honest, I'm sure you're about to get mad at me, man. Sorry, I don't know why Zambia. Because I think because I've been to Zambia before, to Zambia before. First, invite me to Malawi, honest. Invite me to Malawi, and there is someone called from Zambia who is usually here. I think Bads. It has a very interesting name, quite difficult to pronounce. Badmas Basit is the one from Zambia. So Ernest Kavuta, I think I elaborated on the Sergio Reguilon thing, Anolina Liguma, and of course Kenny Katuramu and team. Thank you so much, guys. Who is saying the 3-4-3? 3-4-3 simulation will get us the win. Well, 3-4-3, 3-5-2, back 3, whatever it is. 3-4-3 is also nearly one and the same. So long as the 4 are a diamond, so I want to see a diamond in the middle. So there is a base of the diamond that has Amrabat. The top has Bruno. One side has Casemiro. The other side has Kobe. Let's see where Amrabat, rather, what's his name? Kevin De Bruyne will pass. Game on. Good night, guys. See you tomorrow.